Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Jackie Van Ham, your girl in the know for all things motorcycle. Welcome to today's show, everybody. Welcome back. Your Fun Fact Friday. For today, I was a little bit inspired by some of my friends over at one of the other pages that I frequent over here on the Facebooks called POIM, and they started up a thread yesterday which got me into mind, and I apologize, I've got a couple little wild dogs here, so you're gonna hear squeaking toys. I'll try to scoot it away from him. Got me into the mind of thinking about some real odd duck motorcycles, and I thought it was such a fun thread and it was such a good time. It had so many interesting bikes that I have kind of forgotten about. I bet you the manufacturers and designers hoped that we'd forgotten about. All sorts of interesting stuff going on over there. So I figured today's Fun Fact Friday we'll be talking about some of those odd ducks here in motorcycling. As always, I can see your comments either over on my second camera, or it looks like I can see them now on my laptop. Oh my God, look at this technology. Dan Benson, welcome to the show. Mark, welcome to the show. Look at me go. Look at me figuring out these interwebs. It's only taken, what, 4.5 years of doing this? Anyway, so let's get started. Again, I always publish this over on the POIM page. So to all my POIM buddies, hello. Thank you for the inspiration. And this is just going to be the walking, talking version of the thread that you all started earlier this week. So let's get started. By the way, in the comments, of course, feel free to throw in there any, I don't think you can post a photo while we're live, but throw a photo or throw a comment in the comments. That makes sense, right? Throw a comment in the comments of some of the motorcycles that are at the very top of your list of total odd ducks. Now, I'm not going to say that they're like the ugliest motorcycles, because one man's trash is another man's or lady's treasure, right? So instead, I'm just going to refer to them as odd ducks. And first things first, the first slide on your screen is definitely a bit of an odd duck and one of the earliest bikes on today's list. Actually, it's the earliest bike on today's list. So this is a motorcycle. This is a 1926. The manufacturer of this is Scott, and not only is it just kind of like funky and weird looking, another interesting quick fun fact about this Scott is that sleeve. So you can see the cylinder is towards the front of the frame where it's at an angle. It's like a sloper style engine going this way actually this way. Anyway, it's a sloper style kind of a cylinder head in there. That little sleeve around it is liquid cooled. Scott was one of the very, very earliest liquid cooled motorcycles manufactured, and they started liquid cooling, I think, in the late aughts. I think like 1909 or 1911, somewhere in there. One of their earliest bikes was liquid cooled. Anyway, look at that Fun Fact Friday. It's nerdiness on top of odd ducks. Look at me go. Anyway, so one of the earliest pictures on the list today is going to be this 1926 Scott. Next on the list, another very, very odd duck, but super cool and interesting and weird as all hell get out, is this 1937 Bommerland. So this Bommerland is from Czechoslovakia. They came in several different styles. All of them had different, not all of them, they came in several different frame lengths. They were either meant to seat one people, two people, or the slide on your screen right now is for 3 people. So it's this great big, huge, long touring bike. And as huge as this bike is, and it's massive, and this picture does not do it justice. I mean, the seat is for 3 people, so you can imagine how long this bike is. That's only a 600cc, 600 displacement engine, but still very, very cool. And that Bommerland, by the way, is one of the very first, if not the first, cast wheel motorcycles. Of course, this is like in the 1930s, so everybody was still using spokes back then, but not the Czechoslovakian folks over at Bommerland. They decided to make cast wheels out of this in order to hold up all of that weight from this huge long frame, right? So anyway, that is my motorcycle number 2 here on today's list. Next is an English manufacturer, Ariel. So Ariel is known for several very cool machines, one of which you might be familiar with called the Square 4, also lovingly referred to as the Squarial. That's an absolute stunner. But at the other end of the spectrum is this machine. Now, again, I'm going to call this an odd duck because I love this bike, but I love fully faired enclosed machines. I think they're beautiful and very slick and very classy looking. And that's exactly what the designers were going for. You see a huge boom in fully faired, almost like motorcycles meet scooters type vibe in the 1950s. and a little bit into the 60s, but 1950s and 60s predominantly. And the reason why, which I covered on show like a gazillion years ago, is touching on a little bit of the fact that after World War II, the economy was still kind of getting back on its feet, but people couldn't quite afford, and not everybody around the world globally could afford cars yet because the economy was still kind of getting itself together. But people still needed a clean and tidy method of transportation to go get groceries, lug their kids around, lug their husbands and wives and grandmas around, all that jazz. So that is what you'll see a bunch of these fully fared machines for, is for people that wanted to still keep clean and wear a suit or a dress on a machine and not get covered in dirt. Kind of interesting, right? So unfortunately, once the economy got going and cars became much cheaper to own, that was the death of these type of motorcycles in the late 1960s, and then you see motorcycles kind of changing what they're doing and doing different things. But that's a whole other conversation. Anyway, this bike, number 3 on the list, is going to be the Aerial Leader. Another European machine, this time German, is this Monk. So this bike is called the Mammut, which is for mammoth, of course, because it is huge. Oh my goodness, what a huge machine. This is 1,000, 1,100 or 1,200 cc's. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's basically, for all intents and purposes, is literally a car engine shoehorned into a motorcycle frame. These bikes are really cool. Again, it's an odd duck. It might not be your cup of tea, but they're very collectible and they're very interesting. And they had a lot of weird bells and whistles that were very like car related. From when they were produced. So anyway, that's going to be on my list. And speaking of fully fared, but hit the time machine button and advance yourself forward, this is a motorcycle from Honda. This is just a super odd duck. It's called the Pacific Coast. It's fully fared, as you can see. It's all enclosed. It's a very like space machine looking bike. It's obviously a tour machine. And this was also on the list of odd ducks over at the POIM page. So another odd duck. This time I've got a handful of bikes from our friends over at BMW. This super odd duck. Look at this bike. What the hell is it? Is it a sport bike? Is it a tour bike? Is it a naked bike? I mean, who the hell knows what's going on here? But it's super weird. It's super odd duck, and it totally fits today's show. This is a BMW. This is a cylinder, one of the earlier cylinder bikes, single cylinder bikes. This is an F bike. It's an F650. I can tell you that much by looking at it. I can't remember the exact name of this. If you know it, go ahead and throw it in the comments. But this is just one of the ugly, odd, I'll say odd, not ugly, odd, odd bikes from BMW at the beginning of their single cylinder machines. Speaking of other odd duck bikes from BMW, this one is super polarizing because even though this is officially the Ronald McDonald color scheme on this K1000, they did another version of this bike in blue, and it's actually really pretty rad. It's like a dark blue and lighter blue are the two-tone paints on this versus the McDonald clown car red and yellow that's going on here. This is also known as the ketchup and mustard bike. This is definitely a very, very odd duck. Again, this is a very, very love it or hate it machine, as well as this next bike. Woo! This just burns down the internets, doesn't it? So this was BMW's very first attempt in the when the hell did this come out? 1980s? 1990s? God, I can't even remember. Anyway, this came out in the 80s or 90s. It's escaping me right this second. Stick in the comments if you know. But more importantly, this is a boxer engine, and this is their first release. This is the R1100 R1000C. C for cruiser. So they attempted to put their little toe in the water of the cruiser market in the Wayback Machine, and this is what they came up with. This bike has just been universally panned. Man, does this upset people, this bike. And it did not sell very well. You could still find them for like nothing up to a couple of years ago. But because they just released the R18 this year, it's currently available at dealerships and it's absolutely gorgeous. There's been a real resurgence in interest of this bike, because it was like the first cruiser, right? And now they've got another cruiser out on the market. So people are these have kind of gone up in value. These are a little bit collectible right now, which is hilarious because you couldn't give them away with a 6-pack of Budweiser a couple of years ago. You couldn't even give this bike away. Another odd duck on today's list, I've got two of them for you from our friends over at Suzuki. This is the Katana. So this is such an odd duck to me. Obviously, it's all about that high horsepower. I'm sorry I keep looking down. I'm making sure my little dog isn't chewing on my electrical cords because he did already chew through my webcam, which I'm very not happy about. But anyway, so this is the Katana. So this is obviously, you know, beloved by high horsepower, production high horsepower freaks. A lot of folks love this bike, but I think it is just an odd duck. I mean, it's just so like bulbous and round and massive, you know, for normally when you're talking high horsepower, it's like lean and mean. And this one is like kind of fat and wallowy. Another one from our friends over at Suzuki, this is the Madura, I think is what this is called. And this is just like a weird, like, what's going on here with this? It's obviously their attempt to kind of get into the V-twin space, but still just a total odd duck. And this was on the list like a million times. People really thought that this is just a really odd duck bike over at POIM. I'll say nicely. I'll be diplomatic and call it an odd duck. Another odd duck is going to be from our friends over at Moto Guzzi. This is the V10 Centralio. There we go. Centralio, I think is, I'm with my glasses on. I can't read that far. My dog is trying to rip my arm off right now. Anyway, so this is another one of those bikes where they were trying to like be performance, but they were trying to be cruiser. This was of the same kind of genre as when they released the California, which is still in existence. It's not gone. I don't think. I think it's still part of the lineup. But that definitely went down into cruiser land. But this was trying to be like muscle cruiser. So super, super weird, super odd duck. You know, Moto Guzzi, I love you guys. Always at the top of the list of odd ducks, this is another real squirrely bike from our friends at Honda. This is the Honda Rune. I mean, what is there to say about that? Again, it's this weird, like, muscly cruiser tour pig thing. Nobody really knows what's going on with it. It's got basically a car engine jammed in there. I mean, it's basically like a real snazzled up Goldwing. From Ducati now, Ducati did have a couple of bikes that are going to be on the list for today, but the one I really wanted to bring up, because this is such an odd duck. You never see this bike. It took me a hot second to realize what it was, and then once I saw the L Twin, I knew that this was a Ducati, and this is the Indiana. So, again, everybody just trying to put their toe in the water of cruiser land, you know, try to take a little bit of Harley-Davidson's lunch money and not succeeding at all. Speaking of Harley-Davidson, however, another bike that was in bed with Harley-Davidson, rest in peace, Buell Motorcycles. Eric Buell is still alive. He didn't die, but he has had some real business struggles with a couple of different companies, and this was his first big business struggle, and this was with Harley-Davidson. So again, you're seeing a lot of the bikes on the list for today are fully fared, and people just really do not understand what fully fared machines are all about. I get it. You know, this one is about streamlining, because this is a 1000cc V-twin RR. This is all about being really streamlined. So I totally get it, but it is definitely a bit of an odd duck. And that covered front wheel, man, nobody likes that. Everybody gets real bent out of shape about the covered up front wheel. So God bless you, Eric Buell. And then also on the list, multiple times, these are just they're just very angry at Harley-Davidson over there, because I love this Pan America. I can't wait for this to come out. I think this thing is super shit hot. I think it's awesome. I got nothing but love for it. It's eventually going to make its way to dealerships this next 2021, I think. They've been teasing it out for 5 years now. Who knows? Anyway, I think this bike is absolutely spectacular. I think it looks great. I got nothing bad to say about it. I've seen it live and in person. I think it's really rad. I can't wait for it to be in production and be at dealerships. But the list over there at POIM, man, woo, they're not happy about this motorcycle. I've mentioned it several times on a couple of different shows that dirt bikes, or adventure type bikes is how I should say it, adventure type bikes and V-twin to me makes a lot of sense, because of all that torque, all that low end power, all that grunt. You know, that's why the BMW GS works so well. It's not a V-twin. I didn't fall and hit my head. It's a shaft-driven bike, though, and the way that they make power is kind of similar in the fact that they're very, very low-end, very torquey type bikes. So I thought that was I think this is a great bike. So I don't know what y'all are talking about. This is not an odd duck to me. This is gorgeous. I love this. Harley-Davidson, feel free to put one in the mail to me. I love it. So that's what's going on today's show about odd ducks. What do you guys think about that? What do you think about today's program of odd ducks? I tried to keep it lively for you on your Fun Fact Friday show. I am getting ready to head down to Tennessee. I'm going to jump in the car. I was hoping to go today, but if you are a regular watcher of the show, you know I've just been in the I don't even know what to say, in the cut. I've just been in it, attempting to move my warehouse location. Unfortunately, I had to pack up and move out of my warehouse spot, which is I've been in for 6 years. And if you've ever had to move a garage and projects and tools and parts and shelves, I've got 10-foot tall industrial shelving I had to take apart yesterday, and I literally cut apart with a angle grinder in order to make them fit here at my home shop. Anyway, I'm up to my eyeballs with that, and I'm going to be this weekend in Tennessee. Next weekend, I will be in Jacksonville, Florida. The following weekend, I will be down in Palm Bay, Florida. I saw Mark just peeked in from Palm Bay. I'm going to be down in Jacksonville and Palm Bay with BMW at one of their demo truck locations. The weekend after that, I will be in Tucson, Arizona. So I'm gone the next 4 weekends, traveling and working, and so I still have to move on top of it. So anyway, that was a long way of saying today, unfortunately, I cannot step away and go down to the races tonight, the speedway races, but I'll be jumping in my car tomorrow and heading down to the flat track races because I'm going to be working that event, doing some announcing and color commentary for them. So I'm really excited about that. I'll be down there tomorrow. If you are in the Tennessee area, you should go to those races tonight and tomorrow. They're out in Shelbyville, Tennessee. Hopefully I will see you there. Please do come say hello to me if you see me at the event tomorrow. I wear glasses and I'm blind as a bat, so you got to come over and you got to introduce yourself and say hello or I'm not going to see you. And I'm also short, so look down. So thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. I super appreciate each and every one of you watching. Do take a second, share this video. This is a pretty good one, right? There's all sorts of weird stuff on today's show. Take a second, share this with your motorcycle pages that love learning about awesome motorcycles and looking at weird stuff and talking some smack out here on the internet. I will see you, hopefully in Tennessee, or I will see you next week. Next week's show is going to be on Tuesday because I've got a travel day on Wednesday. I'm headed down to Jacksonville. So I will be on Tuesday. So make sure you hit that notifications on button. You're not going to want to miss us. You're not going to want to miss me and my crazy little dogs who's going crazy here. I'm trying to pick him up. I was trying to show him to you, but he's losing it. He's officially 4 months old and hold on. And he's crazy. Oh, he's crazy. Oh, he just blinked my glasses. Okay, go away. He's crazy. He's a handful. Puppies are nuts. Anyway, thank you for tuning in, everybody. Have a lovely weekend no matter where you are out there in the world. Ride safe. I hope the weather is lovely no matter where you are so you can go out and ride some motorcycles. Have a great time, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much to my show partner for the past year, Vroom Retract Vac, vroomyourroom.com. It totally sucks, and it's supposed to. TwoStrokeTees.com. I've still got some t-shirts available. Click on over for free shipping. Choppertown Nation. I couldn't keep doing these shows without you guys watching, clicking, liking, and sharing all these videos. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. My event partner for this past month has been the Tennessee Hooligan Finale State Championship tomorrow in Shelbyville, Tennessee. I'll be there live and in person doing the announcing and color commentary. Hopefully we'll see you there. This event and me being brought down there was in partnership with my friends at Boswell's Harley-Davidson in Middle Tennessee. And my upcoming event partner, my friends over at the AMA Supermoto Championship Series at DRT Racing. I'm going to be out there in November. This is on the 7th and 8th at the Musselman Honda Circuit in Tucson, Arizona. Make sure you come on out, check out this incredible racing. It's going to be an absolute hoot, and there's a hooligan race that day as well, or both days I should say. So it's a double-double, it's a triple, quadruple double whammy. There's all sorts of supermoto and hooligan racing going on all weekend long. So see you guys there out in Arizona. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great weekend, and I will see you on Tuesday.